Hi everyone. In this video, I would like to talk about how we can set up Citrix demo environment or lab environment on your personal laptop or desktop. So before we set up any demo environment on our personal computer, we need to first make sure that we need to have proper configuration. So the very first thing that I would like to check before installing Citrix components on my computer is whether I have 16 GB RAM or not. So if you have at least 16 GB RAM on your computer, on your laptop or desktop, it would really help to set up a basic Citrix environment. So I will mention those details on the screen. Give me a minute. Okay, so if you have like i3 processor, i5 processor with i7 processor or with at least 16 GB of RAM, that would really help. So there are many components that we need to install on while doing Citrix demo. So I would like to mention how much RAM we can allocate for each and every component in Citrix environment. Okay, so give me a second. Let's say we have so you have 16 GB RAM. Okay, so 16 GB RAM on your laptop. Let's consider it. So the very first thing you need to configure on your Citrix Lab environment is you need to have Active Directory, okay, which is AD or Active Directory. So for this, on my Citrix Lab environment, I've given 2 GB because I just have 16 GB in total. So I've configured 2 GB for Active Directory. This is mandatory and this needs to be on a separate machine, okay? So don't install any other roles in AD server. It is 2 GB and don't install any other roles like I don't know SQL or controller, whatever it is. It needs to be just Active Directory, okay? So we have given 2 GB RAM for this, and the next thing is uh, I would like to give for storefront. I install it on a different server. Okay, storefront I install it on a separate server and I give 2 GB again for this machine. Okay, so Active Directory 2 GB, storefront 2 GB, and then what else? I'll just erase this. Where is eraser? Okay. Okay, Active Directory 2 GB and storefront 2 GB, and the next thing is you need to have controller, which is the main component in Citrix. Okay, so I would like to give 2 GB for this. Okay, and what else? On controller, actually, when you're installing controller, it asks you to select the components. So you can just for lab setup, you can have director, okay, Citrix director, Citrix Studio, Citrix license server, okay, everything installed on controller because this is just a demo environment or lab environment, okay. Otherwise, in real-time environment, director may have a separate server, okay. So controller 2 GB, AD 2 GB, storefront 2 GB, and let us have VMware environment, okay, VMware server virtualization environment, VMware or Zen server, whatever it is, because you need to install ESXi server or Zen server, and you need to configure at least 6 GB of RAM would really help. Okay, minimum 6 GB of RAM can really help to run the setup. So I would say that, okay, I would say that uh, I'll give 6 GB RAM at least. Okay, 6 GB RAM. So in total, if you calculate, so for controller, I've given 2 GB. VMware ESXi or Zen server environment, I I've given 6 GB because you need to install ESXi server or Zen server. On top of that, you need to create virtual machines as well. So at least if you want to create one virtual machine, if you're allocating 3 GB RAM or something for ESXi, and if you want to create a virtual machine, I would like to give at least 2 GB RAM for that for one machine. So yeah, so this is really mandatory. With a server virtualization environment, I would like to give 6 GB, controller 2 GB, storefront 2 GB, Active Directory 2 GB, and not to forget, you should also have a SQL server, okay, a database server or a SQL server. For that, I would like to give 2 GB, okay. So SQL is 2 GB. So some people, what they like to do is they like to install SQL on this controller component as well because it's just a lab setup, right? So if you don't have enough RAM available, people just do it on controller. It comes with it. Some SQL database components come with the file itself, but some people like to have a separate SQL server where they would like to install it. So for that you need to give at least 2 GB RAM. Okay. So I think in total it has come close to 14 GB or 16 GB. So I'll just reiterate. So Active Directory you need to give 2 GB RAM, and storefront you need to give 2 GB RAM. Okay, controller you can give 2 GB RAM, or if you want to give 3 GB RAM, that is also fine. And for Zen server, VMware, ESXi environment, if you want to set up, I would like to give at least 6 GB, and SQL server can be separate. For that, you can give 2 GB RAM. And what else? Yes, license server. I would like to install license server only for lab setup. I would like to install that features or roles on controller itself. But if you have more RAM, you can have a separate machine and you can install it in your lab environment, and you can give 2 GB RAM. So yeah, this is how I do it in my demo environment. Okay, and let's say this is only for Citrix virtual apps and desktops. But if you want to do it, like if you want to run Citrix provisioning services, the setup would also be almost same. So yeah, so you can have, I think you have the basic idea now how we can do it. So the main things that I would like to highlight here is don't install any other component on Active Directory. Okay, Active Directory has to be Active Directory. Don't install SQL or controller or any other roles on that. So let the AD be separate, and all the other machines should connect to this particular AD server to authenticate or to be part of the domain. And what else? Yes, so far it is good. So you can give it a shot. Like if you have 16 GB RAM, you can just try to install these components and run the setup. But you will come across some issues which you can try to overcome. That's not a problem. In any lab environment you get issues, so try to do it. If you get any error message or something, just keep working on it. At some point in time you will get the output. Okay, I hope you find this information helpful. Thank you for watching. Bye.